Hey there, it's Keith Hayden, the digital novelist, here with a series that I'm going to call Cross Train. The purpose of Cross Train is to introduce other forms of creativity and ways to interact with the world to level up your skills and make you a better writer and novelist. I'm doing that this month by learning how to code. Now, this isn't my first time learning how to code. I did complete the 100 Days of Code challenge. That was about 2 years ago that I did that. But my skills were very rusty and I was using a different program. But I decided to go a little bit more chill this time and just go back to Free Code Camp and go from there. I love the simplicity of the curriculum. If you haven't tried it, just like it says in the name, it's completely free and it's a step by step way to learn how to code, but with a twist. I also want to learn how to use some of the new AI tools that are out there and understand how they can help me not only do the curriculum, but learn faster and actually deploy what I code. Because normally when you're first learning to code, you just do a lot of practice things. You don't really deploy anything, meaning other people can't really use your code. And that's kind of the point, right? You're still learning, and getting a production ready website or even a little form can be difficult. And in a lot of cases, it can cost money. But in this video, I'm going to show you how I completed the first project using AI tools that accelerated my learning and made it to where the project is actually useful for something in my business. How about that? If you're interested in more and seeing more from me in this cross train, this is going to be probably a subscriber only type of thing. So if you're watching this, you're probably already on my list or I already know you. But if you want to see more of these things, go ahead and head to my website and enter your email address. And there's going to be a lot more coming with this because this has been a lot of fun. This is day 18 for me of doing code, and I've done it every day, and it's a small commitment. It's 30 minutes a day, and I already feel way more confident in my just comfort with code and my ability to actually use it for practical things. And you have to really maintain that streak if you want to get better at something. So without further ado, let's get into the code. So I'm going to go to Free Code Camp first and show you with what I started, where I started. So this is the Free Code Camp site, and I'm on the first course, and I'm on the first certification project. This is the first project. So what they do in this project is they tell you it's just like an assignment you would probably get if you were in school. They call it a story, and I'm not sure why they call it that, but these are basically the requirements that your code has to have. It has to have an H1 element with an ID title, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? And these are all things that I did, and I did go through the entire curriculum up to this point. So I just did it within Free Code Camp and nothing else. And now I'm on this. So as soon as I saw this, anytime I see a list of text like this these days, I'm already thinking, how can I use AI to either break this down or, in the case of code, do it for me? Now, if you're watching this video, and I may just post this one since it's the first one, I might post this one online because this is just a kind of like the demo. But if you're watching this video, then you may be thinking, well, what the hell's the point? How do you know that you're not doing the work, you're not doing the code? Well, in my mind, that's why I did the exercise with Free Code Camp. And one of the things that Free Code Camp is great at is it's good at getting you the muscle memory of the code, meaning you're inputting it manually. So you're understanding and they're explaining, this is what this does, this is what that does, this is how this affects your website and all these things. So I've already got that training. And trust me, I did 100 Days of Code pre-AI, so I know what I'm talking about here because I've seen the difference between the training methods, and it's night and day. The hard part about learning to code is always the syntax. It's remembering what commands to use when. It's troubleshooting the commands when they don't work because you can't connect the dots, and it's hard to see, okay, first you got to find the error, then you got to figure out where to fix it, and on down the line. So in the past, you had to go online, you had to Stack Overflow, you had to Google, research, and then you find somebody that had a similar problem to yours, but yours is unique because you're doing a standalone project, so it's never been made before, and then you try and implement it into your code. This is why learning to code prior to AI was so difficult and it took so long, is because this is the process, and only by doing that process over and over and over again with several little projects do you finally get it down and, okay, I know what this does, and then you just kind of remember it. We don't have to do that anymore with AI. With AI, we can just have it done, we can get something production ready, and we can customize while we're having this explained to us. The emphasis is no longer on inputting the syntax. It's understanding what you want the code to do and manipulate it. So all I did was I took this entire thing, I copied and pasted. I'm not going to actually do it because I already did it. And I took it to ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT just came out the week before I started working on this, last week, actually, as of this recording. The O1, ChatGPT O1 preview just came out. And I'm on the free version of ChatGPT. I'm not subscribed to ChatGPT at this time. So this is completely free. And it's super duper powerful. So all I did was give it a little instructions, help me build this project from Free Code Camp's responsive web design course. It should satisfy all of the below requirements. Only use HTML and CSS. This was an important thing to put in because it will just do whatever it wants with the code. It'll throw JavaScript in there. It'll throw whatever. I don't want that because even though I do know a little bit of JavaScript, I want to act like I don't for this case because I don't know it very well. So if it put it in there, I wouldn't really know what it does. But I was like, that's all I know. And then I said build, and then I gave it the stories. And so it did it for 47 seconds, and then it gave me the template. Now, this in and of itself is not very impressive. We've all known, and if you haven't known, that ChatGPT can do this type of thing with code. It's been able to do this for a little over a year, like a year and a half now. It's been a while. So welcome to ChatGPT. If you didn't know it was this good at code. But here's the cool part about using this for learning code. Because remember, I'm not just trying to create something. I want to actually learn how this works. So not only is all this stuff familiar to me now, because I went through Free Code Camp's curriculum, but now I can customize it because this is based off of their just template. And this is the template website of what was made. It's just this form. It's a nice form and it's for Free Code Camp, but it's just meant to be a practice form. I wanted to actually make something that was for me. So I went back to ChatGPT and I said, okay, this is great, but customize it to where it's an intake form for my podcast. My podcast is called the Digital Novelist Podcast, where I help people write novels, mostly write their first novels, but even if you're an experienced novelist, I can help you get more out of the work that you already have done. Just head over to keithhayden.net and you can find more. But anyway, this should be aimed at novelists who are currently writing a novel, and I gave it some parameters that I wanted to see based on the HTML and CSS that I've learned. And then 8 seconds later, boom, we've got the same project, but it's instantly customized. So let's go over to Cursor AI. The Cursor AI, if you're not familiar with Cursor AI, Cursor is a fork of VS Code. VS Code is one of the most popular IDEs or coding platforms where you can actually write code and develop, and then you can deploy it from there. It's basically VS Code, but with AI. That's all it is. So, of course, I was able to copy and paste what I got from ChatGPT into Cursor. But what was cool about Cursor is because all of this wasn't ready-made. There were some things that, of course, ChatGPT doesn't know, right? ChatGPT doesn't know the name of my podcast. It doesn't know my personal website. All of those details I want to put in there. And then there were certain other things. So what this cool workflow allowed me to do was, because I understood the code, because I did the curriculum, I was able to just go in and tweak. And as I'm tweaking, I can just Control K and I can have Cursor generate code for where I needed, and it was great. There were a couple of places where it didn't have an ID or a for attribute that I needed to add in there. These things that are in parentheses right here, and so I added those in, and Cursor just helped me do that. I got done with the HTML very fast. CSS, same thing. Just put it in there and adjust as necessary. Are you ready to see the final form? First, I'll show you. This is the label for my podcast. This is the logo that I made myself. And I wanted this to be, of course, ChatGPT didn't have this. So I had to go and get a copy and put it in the folder. And this was the result. Look at this form. Beautiful, beautiful form, completely functional. And then I took it a step further. This is basically the end of the project here. I've already satisfied the requirements for Free Code Camp. I had satisfied it back here with ChatGPT. But I wanted to go a step further because getting stuff deployed to where people can use it. Because like I said, if I just left it to this, you can see this is in my D drive. This is on my personal computer. Nobody else can actually use this form. I didn't want that. I want this to be an actual usable form. So that means I had to connect it to a backend service or find a place to basically for the form data to go, because the form data doesn't go anywhere if it's just in this form. So I went back to ChatGPT. I had no idea how to do that. And with ChatGPT, I just asked it, how do I do this? How do I get it? Oh, I asked about my logo first, so I did the logo. And then I asked it, where would the form data be submitted when somebody fills it out? How can I collect it? And then it gave me options. Now, I had never heard of some of these, and it gave me options. It was like, if you want to just do the HTML, CSS, do you want to do it yourself? And I was like, okay, I don't know which one's best. But then it said, given that you're currently working with HTML and CSS, keep things simple. I recommend this form spree. I'd never heard of this form spree, but it took me to form spree and it was perfect. And I've actually already tested the form, and you can see that I tested it just now. And here was my sample information. Let's see if I can expand this. Yep, here we are. Boom. And this is just my information. But look how cool that is. I have all of this information. I coded this myself. Development time for this entire project over the course of 2 daily sessions, I only work on this 30 minutes a day, is about an hour. 1 hour from nothing, from Free Code Camp requirements to finished, locked and loaded. We've got a submittable form. And by the way, I actually cloned it to made a GitHub repository. And I created a GitHub page. So this form is actually live on GitHub pages, meaning I can share this link, and I can actually use this form and collect data. And I started to think about how long it would take me to create this form without AI and just putting in the keys and doing the thing and then troubleshooting and all that. It probably would have taken me at my current level maybe a couple of days. It probably would have taken a week, given I'm only doing this 30 minutes a day. So a week down to an hour. It's pretty impressive. And of course, I'm moving a little bit faster because I have worked with HTML before. I know of these different ways to do it, but I haven't done this stuff for a long time, and I'm not a software developer. So this is the power of some of these AI tools, especially for learning, because I feel like I didn't just create this form, but I actually learned and I understood, and I was able to tweak the code to my liking. So what did you think of this? Let me know in the comments. This is a really fun project. I look forward to doing more of these. I see people all the time talking about the power of using AI, especially for code, and it is pretty amazing what you can do. And as a former teacher, I'm very fascinated about how these tools can be used to learn things faster, because they know a lot of things and they can give you reps and information fast, but it's still up to us to determine, to tell it what we need to know when we need to know it. And once you are able to do that, whew, it's powerful. My name's Keith Hayden, the digital novelist. Check me out at keithhayden.net to find more of my stuff, more of my creations, my books, my services, and you can find more of me on my YouTube channel, The Digital Novelist, and I've got a ton of videos there that'll help you write your novel. Until next time, see ya.